Um, Pretty exciting day, pretty exciting week to be a Trojan, quite honestly, starting with Sunday and then up and through today. I want to say first, before I get into the class and the players, how proud I am of our coaching staff, what these guys have been able to do in a short amount of time, starting with the two coaches that remained on staff from the previous staff, and T. Martin and Clay Helton. And what they did with the players that were committed to us, and holding on to relationships with players that were not committed to us yet, but holding on to them. And then as we brought on one coaching staff member after another, the ability of those guys to integrate together and then collectively recruit what I think is a fantastic class in a short amount of time. And so those guys deserve a great deal of credit. I thought our coaching staff did a tremendous job. And then to think in the past 6 weeks, the majority of which being a massive dead period there in the middle, we signed, of our 12 kids that weren't committed to us when I got hired. And so I think it's a fantastic job by our coaches of developing relationships with these players, utilizing an amazing product in USC that we get to sell. This is a fantastic institution, and I think that we signed a really balanced class, one that is competitive. It's got competitive individuals in it, but of high character and guys that are going to fit in great at an institution. Quite honestly, when you think about it, there's 51,000 applicants this year to USC. 2,600 kids are going to get into school here. We get 19 of them on our football team. And so this is a fantastic place, and I think all of these guys are worthy of it and are going to do a great job representing USC. So what I'll do is kind of be generic somewhat, going through the position groups, and I'll talk about the mid-years as well, just to kind of bring them all together, and then we'll open it up to questions. So start on the offensive side of the ball. Really felt like the offensive line was a big position in need for us, just from sheer depth. And so to sign 5 offensive linemen, some of which will have opportunities to contribute early on, I think is big. These guys, it's a balanced group. I know everyone wants to label them offensive guards. Quite honestly, I think a couple of them could be offensive tackles. But it's a great group, and a group that was much needed. Then you go to the tight end position. You start talking about Bryce Dixon, who we think is just a dynamic player, a guy who can, again, come in and contribute right away, is feeling a big need for us. And then to the quarterback position, and Jalen Green, a kid who's here already enrolled in school, just a winner. I think his upside is just unbelievable. He's a thrower. He has the ability to run it. I think he's fantastic that way. And then I'm going to jump to defense, because I know I'm leaving out some of the receivers, but I want to lump those guys together. On the defensive front, Claude Pellin, the JC transfer who's enrolled in school now, I think is an immediate impact type guy. And then you throw in Malik Dorton and Don Hill, guys that kind of that Devon Kennard type body, who can come off the edge, who can drop into coverage. So we're excited about those guys. And then the length at linebacker for us was big. And you look at Uchenna and you look at Olajuwon. Both those guys are tall, long, rangy players that we think are fitting the mold of, we want that athletic linebacker that can play in space against these spread type offenses. And I think he gives us that. And then you go to the athletes and you start looking at, in my opinion, this roster, we needed more receiver, DB body types. 1 for offense and defense, but 2 for special teams. And we really addressed it. Obviously, nailed it with a couple big bangs today. Really 3 of them if you start talking about Lamont Simmons in the morning. So all of which you put it all together, this is a really complete class. We intentionally did not recruit a running back. We just felt like the position right now today, we've got great depth with 4 guys that could step in and play at a high level. And we just felt like with only 19 scholarships, we had some other pressing needs that we had to address, and I thought we did that really well. And all in all, it was a fascinating process, to come on board in early December, to have a couple weeks to recruit then, and then have about a month where it was an absolute dead period where we could really do no recruiting, and then to finish the way we did in about a 2.5-week span. It was just a great job by our coaches, like I said, developing those relationships, and really kind of another piece to the puzzle. I thought the first piece to the puzzle was the way the guys played in the bowl game and got a great win in the Las Vegas Bowl against Fresno. And then the second piece was this recruiting class, really initially was the mid-years, getting those 5 guys mid-year, and then ultimately these 19. The next piece to the puzzle is our guys in the off-season conditioning program, in the weight training. And then we'll work ourselves and get ready for spring ball and summer and so on and so forth. But this is another piece to the puzzle that we can fit right in and say, okay, check that box. We did it the right way. We got the right type of players in the program, and couldn't be more excited about them. That has not come in yet. I can acknowledge that we're recruiting them. We're, as always this time of year. I dealt with it a couple years ago with another young man, but sometimes through transit and different things, it takes a minute. But we are anticipating it. I couldn't have covered it all. It's too easy. Oh, it's unbelievable. I will say this. The reception that we got going into every high school here in Southern California was absolutely tremendous. I reminded the staff when we first got going, and then as I'd bring a new staff member on, we are the University of Southern California. And for us, recruiting starts right here. And it starts here, and then we can start to spread our wings. But we've got to do a great job in Southern California, and the reception is just tremendous. I've always tried to keep good relationships with the high school coaches and different people here in Southern California, even in my time away. And I thought that really paid dividends here with a couple of the guys down near the end. And but all in all, when you put on that cardinal and gold and you have that SC interlock and you walk into those high schools, there's a great deal of respect. And I think if you continue to treat people the right way, and it's a two-way street, that you get treated really well. And I thought that was very clear to us over the last 6 weeks. It was like being in the fourth quarter of a game, and it being, maybe you're down by 10, maybe you're down by 7, and you just play great football in the fourth quarter. And you score one touchdown, you get a turnover, you score another one, and you just finish really well. And I felt like we didn't get outside of ourselves. We didn't get desperate as a staff. I thought we stayed true to ourselves, continued to rely on the relationships. And at the end, there was a little bit of that anxiousness, that little bit of that nervous excitement. And then the joy of essentially victory, when you win those battles. And couldn't be more excited, like I said, for a football program, for those young men and their families. What an unbelievable opportunity for them to come and join the Trojan family.
Did you really find out on television that
Yes. I used to say this. If you don't know before they announce, that's not a good sign. But I can honestly say today, that theory got thrown right out, because the few of these guys, we really didn't know. We had a good feeling. We really didn't know. And I think they were just messing with me. We got too good of a relationship. I'm not being too nice to these guys in the recruiting process. But we sat there just like everybody else. And I think there's probably a couple videos getting viral now here of the sheer joy and excitement that our staff had when these guys chose USC, because we put a lot of time and effort. We genuinely didn't know, and we had a gut feeling, and then when it comes true, your true emotions come out. So we were excited.
There were a lot of two-way guys this class, like Junior Smith, Rasheed Johnson, Najee Harris. How many of them have you already determined a position for them, or are you kind of taking the approach of we're going to let them all come and figure it out?
We have a good idea where they're going to start, on which side of the ball that they're going to start on. But then we're going to give them opportunities on the other side of the ball. Like I said, I felt like we needed, in my opinion, whether you're a DB or receiver, if you can excel on both sides of the ball, that gives us versatility moving forward. I think the best DBs are really good receivers too. It means they have great hands. The easy guy to point to is Richard Sherman right now. He's a wide receiver the first half of his career at Stanford. Then he ends up moving to DB, and now he's, the last 3 years, nobody has more interceptions in the NFL. He's got great ball skills. So that's been a mindset of ours, that we were going to look for those types of competitors, guys that play both ways, want to be on the field, return punts, return kicks. I mean, John Lockett, as good as he is a DB, some of his best highlights came on the offensive side of the ball and in the return game. So we made it a point to recruit that type of guy. We have an idea of where these guys are going to start when we get them, but they're going to get opportunities on both sides.
Can you go into specifics about where they want to start? Johnson, Harris?
Sure, I can do that for you. The first guy, Ajane, will start on the offensive side of the ball. Ajane Harris will start on offense. Rasheed Johnson will start on offense for us. Jonathan Lockett will start on defense. John Plattenberg, defense. Lamont Simmons, defense. Juju will start on offense for us. I can't comment on him until we receive an NLI. I can't speak on the past. I wasn't here, I don't know, and I can't speak directly about the individual. What I can say is we do a really good job, in my opinion, and it's something that I try to, as a head coach, even do a great job of developing relationships with the young men that we recruit. So I'm confident in the situation that we're in that it's going to be favorable for the Trojans.
How important was the retention of T. Martin in particular? I see he was the lead recruiter on one of those guys.
T's done a fantastic job. T's energy, his work ethic, his relentlessness in recruiting has been tremendous. I think he does a fantastic job of, again, developing relationships with the high school coaches and with the recruits themselves. But again, I don't want to leave Clay Helton out of this. Everybody has a role in the style in which we recruit, and I thought both those guys did a fantastic job in transition. One, with our current football team. Two, in the recruiting process of allowing the transition to feel almost seamless. And proud of those guys, of the job that they did and their willingness to continue to recruit for USC even under some uncertainty. They didn't know if they were going to be left on or kept on and whatnot, but they continued to recruit. And I think, quite honestly, that was part of the reason it showed. And it was very clear that these guys loved USC. They wanted to be part of it. They were going to continue to work for USC. And they did it at a really high level. And the end result is they had a big factor in the class that we signed. Yeah, not T. Clay, both Clay and T, but Clay in general, they've got a little bit of that that southern kind of like I don't know what it is. I don't know how to describe it, but that Cheryl, can you help me? Southern, I don't know, hospitality. That's the word I'm looking for. They got that southern hospitality about them that I think parents, the kids, it's really genuine. They feel Clay. They feel T. They can really connect with them. They're not rushed conversations. They take their time. And in the end, the time that they spend, the quality of conversation that they have with the parents and the kids holds true. And I've had to battle Clay on the other side where I felt like, geez, this guy just won't stop. I feel like I got the kid and Clay just keeps coming around and around and around. So they're just relentless in what they do. They do a great job of it, and they've got a nice feel and approach to it all that is different than maybe some other guys on our staff. But that's what you need. You got to have versatility in recruiting because every situation is different. There's a lot of great guys in here. I'd say two guys that I'm excited to see and to get our hands on and watch them go. The first is Lamont Simmons, out of Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. I mean, when you just turn on the film and forget how many stars, forget who else has offered him or whatnot, you just watch his film. This guy's a fantastic player. He's a shade over 6'2". He plays corner. He's physical. He can run. I'm really excited about him, and I'm excited about Uchenna Nwosu. This guy, I think, his future so bright. I mean, he's long. He's athletic. Those two guys, to me, I think that where they are today and where they'll be